Morning, afternoon, evening, or late night, no matter when you're watching, welcome. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And hey, if this story popped up for you, it's because it deserves to be heard. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more like it. That truth hit me hard when I looked at the cloudless sky, the skinny cattle licking the empty trough, the last trickle of water stubbornly refusing to dry up in the pond. 8 months without rain in the Texas Panhandle. 8 months watching the earth crack like a broken heart, opening deep wounds that exposed the red pain of the parched clay. My name is John J.B. Santos. I'm 60 years old, a widower for 5 years, and my loneliness weighs more than a sack of corn on my back. The Santa Rita Ranch is still known around these parts of Harmony, Texas. 600 acres of good land, prime Angus cattle, a big house that used to be full of laughter. But after Mary left me to go meet God, it seems she took all the life with her. The 8-room house turned into a cemetery of memories. In the living room, the furniture covered with white sheets like shrouds. In the kitchen, only the sound of the fridge humming alone. In the master bedroom, the bed where I sleep only on my side, leaving hers untouched, as if she were coming back tomorrow. As if death was something you could undo with stubbornness. I wake up before the rooster crows, always have. But before, when she was still breathing in the next room, I woke up with pleasure. The smell of the coffee she made, the clatter of dishes in the sink, the soft sound of her humming while she brushed her long hair in front of the mirror. Now it's just the habit of a stubborn old man who doesn't know how to do anything but repeat the same gestures every blessed day. Rowan, my 15-year-old sorrel horse, knows me better than any Christian. When I get in the saddle early in the morning, he doesn't even wait for a command. He knows we're going to ride the same old trails, the back corral where the cattle huddle in the thin shade, the pond that shrinks day by day, the fence that seems endless and always needs repair. It's a sad dance we dance every day, him and me, 2 tired old men going through a joyless routine. The thermometer on the porch already read 102 degrees at 7 in the morning, and the day had barely begun. The heat rose from the earth like a ghost, distorting everything I looked at. Sweat ran down my neck, stuck my cotton shirt to my back, made my eyes burn. But a Texan doesn't complain about the heat. We're born knowing that the sun here has no mercy on anyone. I stopped at the cattle trough. The water was low, almost gone, forming a dark mud that the animals drank anyway. They crowded into the meager shade of a dry mesquite tree, tongues hanging out, eyes glazed with exhaustion. 23 head of cattle, where there used to be 47. The rest died of thirst or were sold for a pittance before they died. Easy there, folks, I said softly as if they understood. I'll bring water from the well tomorrow morning. A lie. The well was drying up too. But we lie to ourselves when the truth hurts too much to be spoken out loud. I mounted Roan and headed towards the north side of the property. There was a pasture there that I hadn't visited in weeks. Not out of laziness, but because it was near the cemetery where Mary rests under a wooden cross that I made myself. And some days, the longing weighs more than an anvil on my chest. The hot wind kicked up whirlwinds of red dust that danced like ghosts across the road. The parched earth cracked under the horses' hooves, making a dry sound that echoed through the silence of the field. In the distance, the mountains looked like mirages shimmering in the heat. Everything so dead, so much like what was inside my chest. That's when I saw the broken fence, 4 posts down, barbed wire stretched on the ground like a dead snake. Must have been the cattle in the early morning, looking for new pasture where there was no new pasture. I got off Roan and started gathering the tools from the saddlebag. Claw hammer, worn-out pliers, rusty staples. The usual job, the routine that kept me busy so I wouldn't think too much. I was hammering the first post, sweat dripping on the ground when I heard it. A soft moan, weak, like a child crying lost in the woods. I stopped hammering, listened carefully. Nothing. only the sound of the wind shaking the dry leaves of the yucca. I went back to hammering. Again, the sound. Clearer now, more desperate. It was coming from behind the clump of prickly pear cactus, about 30 yards away. I dropped the hammer on the red earth. My heart was pounding like a startled horse. It wasn't an animal, I knew that. It was a person, someone in serious trouble. I approached slowly, stepping softly so as not to make any noise, like someone approaching an injured animal. And that's when I saw her, a young woman, fallen face down on the earth, her face pressed against the dry clay, her arms open like a cross, her clothes torn, dirty with dirt and dried blood. Her long black hair stuck to her sweaty neck. She was breathing, but barely. Each breath was a struggle against the death that was already knocking on the door. My God, what disaster happened here? I knelt beside her and touched her shoulder carefully, like touching a withered flower. Ma'am, can you hear me? She moaned softly, tried to lift her head, but her body wouldn't obey. Her lips were cracked and white with thirst. Her eyes, when they opened for a second, were lost, unfocused, like someone seeing things from another world. Easy now, honey. Easy. I'm gonna help you. I looked around, trying to understand what had happened there. Confused tracks on the ground, trampled brush, signs of a struggle, and that heavy smell in the air. The smell of fear, of desperation, of something very bad. With all the care in the world, I turned her over on her back. She was young, couldn't have been more than her early 20s, her face swollen on one side, a nasty bruise on her forehead, scratches on her neck. But her chest was rising and falling. She was alive, weak as a chick fallen from the nest, but alive. Water, she whispered, her voice fading in the hot wind. I ran to the saddlebag hanging on Roan's saddle and grabbed the thermos I always take on my rides. Warm water, but it was water. I ran back, lifted her head slowly, and wet her parched lips. She drank like a plant dying of thirst, desperate, the water running down her chin. Slow now, honey, slow. Thirst won't kill you all at once. After a few small sips, she seemed to wake up a little more. Her eyes focused on my bearded face, and I saw pure terror in them. The terror of someone who had lived through hell and was still smelling the sulfur. Please, she whispered with a broken voice. He'll be back. Who'll be back? My stepfather. He said he was gonna leave me here to die. The blood froze in my veins like well water. What kind of a bastard does that to a creature of God? Abandons a girl in the middle of nowhere to become buzzard food. Nobody's gonna hurt you anymore, you hear? I'm gonna take you to my house. You're gonna get better. She tried to sit up, but her body betrayed her. She was too weak, too dehydrated, too hurt. I can't get up. You don't have to, honey. I'll carry you. I lifted her in my arms as if she were made of glass. She was light as a bird, but trembling all over, her body shaking with fever or fear. I could feel her racing heart beating against my chest through her torn clothes. Her terror was so real that I could touch it with my hands. I put her in front of the saddle, holding her tight so she wouldn't slip. All the way to the ranch, she drifted in and out of consciousness like a candle in the wind. Sometimes she murmured nonsense. Sometimes she called softly for Mom. Sometimes she just cried, a dry cry from someone who has no more tears to spend. The big house appeared in the distance, silent as always, surrounded by the trees that Mary planted when we were still dreaming together. But for the first time in 5 years, I wasn't arriving alone. For the first time in 5 years, someone needed me to survive. And without knowing why, that made something inside my chest wake up again. Something I thought had died with Mary, but that was there, throbbing softly, asking to come back to life. I carried her into the house as if I were carrying my own life in my arms. The big house was too silent, just like it had been ever since death took away all the laughter that once filled these rooms. 5 years of widowhood had turned each room into a museum of longing. The living room with the furniture covered with white sheets that Mary embroidered when we still believed in a long time ahead. The big kitchen where I barely cooked, just heated up canned food and made bitter coffee. The closed rooms that I didn't enter anymore because it hurt too much to see her things still stored there, waiting for an owner who would never return. But now there was a girl passed out in my arms, breathing weakly, and I needed to act. No time for longing. I opened the guest room with my shoulder, the one that Mary always kept tidy in case of a visit that never came. It smelled of mothballs and stagnant time, of varnished furniture that no one used. I turned on the light. The solar power still worked well, opened the two big windows to air it out, took the old sheets off the double bed that no one had slept in for years. I laid her down slowly, with all the care in the world, so as not to hurt her anymore. She moaned softly when her head touched the feather pillow that Mary insisted on buying in town. Her eyes opened for an instant, looked at me with fear mixed with gratitude, then closed again, too tired to stay open. I stood there in the middle of the room, not knowing what to do first. It had been so long since I had taken care of anyone but myself. So long since this house had received new people. And now there was a wounded girl in my guest bed, burning with fever, trembling with fear. First thing, warm water to clean the wounds and see the extent of the damage. I went to the big kitchen and put a pot of water on the gas stove. While waiting for it to heat up, I looked in the high cabinets for the things that Mary kept for emergencies. Half-expired mercurochrome that still worked, cotton, gauze yellowed by time, adhesive tape that didn't stick well, but it was what I had. Everything a bit old, a bit forgotten, but better than nothing. I returned to the room with an agate basin full of warm water and the pharmacy medicines I could find. She was more awake now, following me with those big brown eyes full of a fear that came from the depths of her soul. "What's your name, honey?" "Anna?" The voice came out hoarse, scratchy, as if she had screamed a lot before I found her. "Anna? Pretty name. I'm John J.B. Santos. You're at my house on the Santa Rita Ranch in Harmony, Texas. Nobody's gonna hurt you here." She tried to sit up in bed, but her body wouldn't let her. Her hands trembled when she tried to lean on them. "I need to leave if he finds out where I am. Nobody's gonna find out anything, and you're not leaving here until you get better, until you get strong again." I wet a clean cloth in the warm water and began to clean the dried blood from her face, slowly, as if cleaning a church relic. She flinched when I touched the bruise on her forehead, but let me continue. The bruise was nasty, but didn't seem to have cracked the bone. The scratches on her neck were superficial, already drying on their own. "What happened to you, Anna? Who did this evil thing?" She was silent for a long time, just looking at the wooden ceiling. When she spoke, her voice trembled like a leaf in the wind. "My stepfather. He said I was dead weight in his house, that nobody wanted me around, said I was just a drain and a nuisance, that I was better off disappearing." The voice faded. She began to cry softly without making a sound, the tears running down the sides of her face. "Early yesterday morning, or was it the day before? I lost track of the days. He woke me up before sunrise, said he was going to take me to the big city so I could find work far away from the family, that it was my chance to make something of my life. And you believed him?" I wanted to believe him. I thought maybe he had changed his mind about me, that maybe he really wanted to help me. I stopped cleaning the wound to listen better. Anna continued, her voice getting lower and lower. "He put me in the car, an old pickup truck that smelled like burnt oil, said the trip was going to be long, that I better sleep on the way. But I couldn't sleep. I kept looking at the road, watching the places I knew get left behind. And then, after a long time driving, he stopped in the middle of nowhere, a place I had never seen in my life, just brush, rock, dry dirt. He told me to get out of the car, The blood started to boil in my veins. I could already imagine the rest of the story. When I asked why we had stopped there, he laughed, an ugly laugh without any joy, said that there was my final destination, that I wasn't good for anything anyway, that I was better off dying there than continuing to cause trouble for the family. What a damn scoundrel. I ran like crazy, without knowing where to go, just wanting to escape. But I tripped on a big rock, hit my head, and everything went dark. When I woke up, it was already night and he was gone. He left me there, alone, to die. I finished cleaning her wounds. They weren't serious, thank the Lord. But she was dehydrated, malnourished, in shock. I could see it in the ribs that were showing, in her parched skin, in the way she shrunk whenever I got closer. How long have you been in that place? I don't know exactly. 2 days. 3. Time stopped. I just know I was dying of thirst, of hunger, of fear. I thought I was going to turn into food for the animals. Are you hungry now? I am, but my stomach is turned. I don't know if I can eat. I'm going to make some chamomile tea with honey. Mary always said it calms the spirit and settles an upset stomach. I said her name without thinking, something I hadn't done with a stranger in a long time. Anna noticed. Mary is your wife. Was. She died 5 years ago. Uterine cancer. Took her in 6 months. I'm sorry, she must have been a good woman. The best that ever walked this earth. Took care of everyone. Knew a remedy for every kind of disease. Made the best cornbread in Texas. Did you have children? The question hit me in the chest like a knife. I lowered my head, trying to hide the pain that still hurt after so long. Was going to. A girl. Mary lost her in the 7th month of pregnancy. We had already picked out a name and everything. What name? Anna Louise. She stopped moving, looked at me with wide eyes like she'd seen a ghost. Anna Louise. Anna Louise. A heavy silence fell between us. It was too much of a coincidence to be just a coincidence. Anna swallowed hard before speaking again. My full name is Ana Luis Santos Oliveira. I was born on April 15th in San Antonio. My heart skipped a beat. Ana Louise. Almost the same as the name we had chosen for our daughter. And Santos in the middle, like my last name. How old are you, Anna? 22. I'll be 23 in April. 22 years old. The same age my daughter would have been if she had lived. A shiver ran down my spine like ice water. JB, you okay? You look a little pale. I'm fine. Just remembered something. Weird coincidence. She didn't press the issue. Stayed quiet, fidgeting with the edge of the sheet with her slender fingers. I went to the kitchen to prepare the promised tea, but my head was spinning with the whole coincidence. Anna Louise, Santos in the middle. The right age. As if fate had sent me the daughter I never had. The tea was ready, chamomile with honey from bees that I bought from old Mr. Peterson. I returned to the room with the steaming cup and some shortbread cookies that I had in a tin in the pantry. Drink slowly, I said, helping her sit up in bed. Anna took the cup with both trembling hands, as if holding something sacred. The tea was hot and fragrant, and she drank it all little by little, as if it were the best medicine in the world. Feeling better? Much better. Thank you. We were silent for a while. She ate a cookie slowly, chewing carefully like someone who hasn't had good food in a long time. I sat in the wicker chair in the corner, observing, trying to understand what fate was planning for us. She was pretty, the girl. Even hurt, even with fear stamped on her face, there was something strong about her, something that hadn't been broken despite everything she'd been through. Her eyes were bright, her mouth well-defined. The way she sat in bed showed upbringing from someone who was raised with love before life turned to crap. JB, can I ask you something? Sure, honey. Why did you help me? You don't even know me from anywhere. The question caught me off guard. Why indeed? Why didn't I just leave her there, call the police on my cell phone and wash my hands of it? Why did I bring a stranger into my house, into my guest room, into my heart that had been closed for 5 years? I can't really explain it, I said slowly, thinking about each word. I guess when you see someone suffering, you don't think much. You act on instinct. And the instinct of good people is to help. Not everyone acts like that. Most people pass by, pretend they didn't see. That's true, but I'm not most people. Why not? Because Mary taught me that we're in this world to take care of each other, that no one saves themselves alone, that the love we don't give rots inside us and turns into poison. Anna lowered her eyes, fidgeting with the edge of the embroidered sheet. My mum used to say something similar. She said that God puts angels in the path of good people when they need them most. When did your mother die? When I was 15. Pneumonia. Died in the county hospital in San Antonio, waiting in a line that never moved. And your father? Died 2 years ago. Heart attack. I think his heart couldn't handle missing my mom. And that's when you went to live with your stepfather? No. My stepfather came into our lives long before that. My father remarried when I was 16, a year after my mother died. Her voice became more bitter when she spoke of her stepfather. At first, everything seemed fine. Eclusa, that's my father's wife, was affectionate with me, treated me like a daughter. My father became happy again. I thought I had gained a real family. And then, after they got married, her children were born, 2 boys. Then things changed. First slowly, then completely. She started complaining that I ate too much, that I spent too much on clothes and school supplies, that I was too much trouble. Didn't your father see anything? She was clever. In front of him, she continued to be a saint. Behind his back, she treated me like a housemaid. I cleaned the whole house, took care of the 2 brats, cooked, did laundry, and I still had to hear that I was a burden, that no man would want to marry a poor orphan. Rage began to boil in my chest. What a damn woman, what a lack of heart. And when your father died, did things get worse? A lot worse. On the day of the funeral itself, still with the fresh dirt on the coffin, she told me that I had 2 weeks to find another place to live, that the house was now hers and her children's, that I had no right there. Did you have anywhere to go? I didn't have anyone in the world. My mother was an only child. My grandparents had already died. On my father's side, the whole family lived far away and never paid any attention to me. I ended up staying anyway, being treated like a stray dog. Anna stopped talking. Her eyes filled with water, but she didn't cry. She swallowed the cry and continued. The worst thing wasn't even the hard work, or the insults, or sleeping in the back room that leaked when it rained. The worst thing was the loneliness. It was lying down every day knowing that no one in the world cared if I was alive or dead. That hit me in the middle of my chest like a stray bullet. Loneliness I knew all too well. I knew how it gnaws from the inside, how it turns good people into shadows of people. And how did you get to where I found you? The day before yesterday morning, very early, Clusa woke up different, more nervous than usual, walking from one side of the house to the other. She said that she couldn't stand seeing me around the house anymore, that I was a bad reminder of my dead father. And then she called her new boyfriend, this guy Reynaldo who left me to die. They talked quietly in the kitchen, looking at me from time to time as if I were a dangerous animal. Then he came and said that he was going to take care of me, that I was going to a place where no one would ever have to worry about me again. And you didn't suspect anything. I suspected, yes, but what could I do? I had nowhere to run. I had no money. I had no documents. They kept everything when my father died. My stomach churned, just imagining that girl alone, with no way out in the hands of those bastards. In the middle of the road, when he stopped the car in that deserted place, I knew I was going to die. I saw it in his eyes. He laughed when I asked why we had stopped there. He said, "Because you're going to stay there forever." Then I ran, and you hit your head on the stone. I did. When I woke up, it was already night and he was gone. I stayed there for 2 days, drinking dirty water from a small puddle, eating some sour fruits that I found on a wild plum tree. I thought I was going to die of thirst, or of hunger, or that some animal was going to get me during the night. But you didn't die. I found you. You found me, and saved me. She looked at me with those big eyes, full of a gratitude so deep that I wanted to cry. JB, I know you don't know me well. I know it must be strange to have a stranger in your house, spending your food, using your bed, but I swear on my mother's soul that I'm not a bad person. I've never stolen anything from anyone. I've never hurt anyone. I just wanted to have a real family, to have a place in the world where I could be a person. Her voice broke on the last word, and something in my chest broke along with it. Something that had been hard for 5 years and finally softened. Anna, look at me. She raised her wet eyes. You're not a stranger anymore, and you're not dead weight or a burden or any of those bad things that those bad people said to you. You're a brave, hard-working girl who survived things that would kill a lot of grown people. And as long as you want to stay here, as long as you feel good here, this is your home. Really? Really? House too big for one man anyway. Needs life, needs new people, needs someone to take care of and be taken care of. Now she cried. Cried with relief, with gratitude, with hope being reborn after being dead for a long time. Thank you, she whispered through tears. Thank you for giving me a chance when no one else wanted to give me one. I got up from the chair, went to her and put my hand on her shoulder, just like I used to do with Mary when she was sad for some reason. Everyone deserves a chance in life, honey. Everyone. Even someone like me, orphaned, poor, without family, without anything. Especially someone like you, because you have what a lot of rich people don't have. What do I have? You have a good heart, and a good heart is worth more than any treasure in this world. I left the room to let her rest, but before I stopped at the door. Anna? Yes? Welcome to the family. The smile she gave me at that moment was the first ray of sunshine that entered that house in 5 years of rain. 2 weeks later, Anna was already walking around the house with more confidence, slowly still, leaning on the wall when her body needed rest, but walking. The bruises on her face were fading, turning that yellowish color of a healing injury. The scratches on her neck had dried and formed thin scabs that she scratched distractedly when she thought I wasn't looking. But what changed the most was her eyes. They were still afraid when she heard the sound of an unfamiliar engine on the road. She still startled when someone knocked on the gate. But they also had something new shining inside. Hope. I woke up early as always. The habit of 60 years doesn't change overnight. But now I had a different reason to get out of bed. It wasn't just the routine of a stubborn old man who doesn't know how to do anything else. It was because I knew there was someone in the house who needed me, someone who depended on my care to get better. When I passed in front of her room, I always heard a soft, "Good morning, JB." Timid, but sincere. And those 3 little words made a hell of a difference in my day. That Friday morning, when the sun was still rising behind the mountains and painting the sky pink, she appeared in the big kitchen while I was stirring the coffee. She was wearing one of Mary's old shirts that I had lent her, light blue with small white flowers, a little too big in the shoulders but clean and fragrant. Her black hair was tied in a simple ponytail, leaving her neck exposed where the marks of the scratches had almost disappeared. "Can I help?" she asked, standing in the doorway, like a child asking permission to play. "No need, Anna. You're still recovering. You have to save your strength. But I feel useless just lying down all day, just eating and sleeping. Please let me do something." There was a need in her voice that I knew well, a need to feel useful, to have purpose, to prove to herself that she was still worth something in this world. It was the same need I felt when Mary died and I was lost without knowing what to do with my life. "Okay, you can scramble the eggs there in the skillet, but slowly, without straining too much." "Thank you," she smiled. The first genuine smile I had seen since I brought her home. It was beautiful. It lit up her whole face, made her eyes shine in a way that reminded me of Mary when she was happy about something. We stayed there in the kitchen, working in companionable silence. She scrambling the eggs in the iron skillet that Mary had used for 30 years, me cutting cheddar cheese and heating the sourdough bread that I bought in town the day before. It was strange to have someone sharing that space with me after so long alone, but it was a good strange, a strange that warmed my chest. "JB," she said, as she served the eggs on the porcelain plate that Mary had received as a wedding gift. "Yes, honey. I wanted to tell you something about my stepfather, about how I got to that place where you found me." I stopped cutting the cheese. Since she arrived, I had avoided forcing the issue. I knew it hurt. I knew it hurt to stir up those bad memories. "You don't have to if you don't want to. No hurry." "I need to. You took me into your house, took care of me, treated me like family. You deserve to know the whole truth, however bad it is." We sat down at the kitchen table, the same one where I had eaten alone for 5 years. She stirred the eggs with her fork, gathering courage to start talking. "After my mother died, my father was completely lost. He didn't know how to take care of me. He didn't know how to take care of the house. He didn't know how to take care of his own life. He cried secretly in the bathroom, burned the food on the stove, forgot to pay the bills. I tried to help, but I was just a 15-year-old girl. I didn't know what to do with a father broken by longing. And that's when he met Closer. It was. She worked at the bank where he went to pay the house payments. A widow too, she had 2 small children, 8-year-old Junior and 6-year-old Marcos. My father started talking to her, told her our situation. She pretended to be pitiful, said that she understood our pain because she had also lost her husband in a motorcycle accident. Anna stopped to drink a sip of the coffee with milk that I had prepared. Her hand trembled a little when she held the cup. At first, she really seemed like a good person. She came to our house on the weekends, brought cake for us, played with me, asked how I was doing in school. My father started smiling again, taking better care of his appearance. I thought God had sent an angel to help us. And when did they get married? They got married 6 months after they met. It was a small party just at the church with few guests. I was a bridesmaid, all happy thinking that I was finally going to have a mother again. How silly I was. Her voice became bitter when she continued. "In the first months, everything went well indeed. Clusa treated me with affection, divided the household chores with me, gave me womanly advice about things that I couldn't ask my father. Her children were nice to me in the beginning too. They called me sister, played with me in the yard. And when did things start to change? When she got pregnant with her 3rd child. Then her mask started to fall. First there were small comments, kind of joking. 'Anna, you eat too much for a girl.' 'Anna, that dress is too expensive. It's not for our situation.' 'Anna, you have to learn to be more economical.' Anna stopped eating, her eyes glazed over as if she had returned to that bad time. After the baby was born, a girl they named Letitia, the situation got worse at once. Clusa said that I had to help more at home because she needed to take care of the newborn. I started doing laundry, ironing, cleaning house, cooking, taking care of the other 2 boys. 'Didn't your father see that you were turning into a maid in your own house?' He saw, but Cleusa was very clever. In front of him, she was a saint. 'John, Anna is a wonderful daughter. She helps me so much with the children. John, you're so lucky to have such a gifted daughter.' Behind his back, she was a completely different person. How so? She woke me up in the middle of the night to wash Letitia's dirty diapers. She made me cook for her 4 children while she was watching soap operas in the living room. If I complained about anything, she said I was ungrateful, that I should be thankful for having a roof over my head. The anger started to rise from my stomach to my throat. What a heartless woman, what a lack of compassion for an orphaned girl. And your father never suspected anything. My father, her voice became sadder. My father was so happy to have found a companion that he didn't want to see her flaws. And Clusa knew that. She knew exactly how to manipulate him. How? She made a point of praising him in front of everyone. My husband is the most hard-working man in the world. My husband is a wonderful father. He melted with those compliments. And when I tried to tell him something she did to me, he said that I was jealous of my stepmother, that it was normal for teenagers to have difficulty accepting changes in the family. Anna put her fork down on the plate. She couldn't eat anymore. JB, there are things that I'm still ashamed to talk about. What kind of things? She made me sleep in the little room in the back, the one that was a storage room. She said that I was too old to share a room with the little kids. The little room had no window. It rained inside when it was windy, and in winter it was as cold as a refrigerator. My God. And the food. She made good food for my father and her children, but for me, she always set aside what was left over. The parts that nobody wanted, the chicken bone, the burnt part of the rice, the milk that was almost sour. She did that in front of your father? Never. When he came home from work, she heated up a full plate for me too, pretended to treat me like the others. But as soon as he left the house, everything went back to the way it was before. My stomach churned. To imagine that girl going hungry in her own house, being humiliated every day, sleeping in a little room without a window. And how did your father die? Sudden heart attack. He came home from work on a Friday complaining of pain in his chest and his arm. Clusa said it was exhaustion, gave him some chamomile tea. In the morning he didn't wake up anymore. And the situation got worse after he died. A lot worse. On the day of the funeral itself, with the coffin still being lowered into the grave, she called me aside and said, "Now the gravy train is over. You have 2 weeks to find another place to live." 2 weeks? 2 weeks. I begged, said that I had nowhere to go, that I didn't know anyone. She laughed in my face and said, "That's your problem. I'm not your mother. I'm not obligated to support other people's daughters." Anna started crying softly, not out of despair, but out of an old sadness that came from deep inside her chest. I even tried to look for relatives of my father, but they all lived far away, in California, in New York. And when I called explaining the situation, they were polite, but made it clear that they couldn't help me, that they had their own families, their own problems, and you stayed living there anyway as a maid. Worse than a maid. A maid at least gets paid. I worked from sun to sun, cleaning, cooking, taking care of the children, and I still had to hear every day that I was a burden, that I was eating bread that wasn't mine. For 2 years, sleeping in the back room, eating leftovers, wearing old clothes that the others didn't want anymore. And the worst thing of all was the loneliness. It was knowing that nobody in the world cared about me, that if I died there, nobody would miss me. I got up from the table and went to her. I put my hand on her shoulder, feeling her small body tremble with suppressed crying. "But you didn't die, honey. You endured, resisted, survived all that." I survived, but a lot of things died inside me. The joy died, the will to live died, the hope died. I lived like a zombie, just doing the tasks of the day without feeling anything. And how did you get to that place where I found you? A week ago, or 2, I lost track of time. Clusa woke up in a worse mood than normal. She spent the whole day grumbling, talking to herself in the kitchen. At night, when the children went to sleep, she called Ronaldo, her new boyfriend. Yes, a tall, skinny man with a face that says he's no good for anything good. They started talking quietly in the living room, looking at me from time to time as if I were a dangerous animal. And you heard what they were saying. I heard pieces. She said that she couldn't stand seeing me around the house anymore, that I was a bad reminder of her dead husband, that she wanted to see me far away, very far away, where no acquaintance could ever find me again. Anna wiped her tears with the sleeve of her borrowed shirt. Reynaldo said that he knew a perfect place to solve the problem, that nobody would ever find me there, that I would disappear off the map for good. And the next morning, very early before sunrise, he woke me up in the little room. He said that he was going to take me to the big city, that he had gotten me a job in a clothing factory, that it was my chance to make something of my life. And you believed him. Part of me wanted to believe him. I wanted to think that I was finally going to get out of that hell, that I was going to have a life of my own. But another part knew that something was wrong. The way he spoke, the way he looked at me, you could feel that it wasn't a good thing. But you went anyway. What choice did I have? Stay there being humiliated every day until I died? At least going with him, I had a small chance of succeeding. Anna got up from the table, went to the kitchen window, and stood looking at the yard where Mary planted her fruit trees. The trip was long. He didn't say much, just drove smoking cigarette after cigarette. We stopped at a gas station to refuel and he bought me a bologna sandwich. It was the only thing I ate all day. And when you arrived at the place, when he stopped the pickup truck in the middle of that open field, I knew right away that I was going to die. There was no house nearby, there was no factory, there was nothing, just dry dirt, rock, thorny brush. And that's when you tried to run. I tried. I ran like crazy, without direction, just wanting to escape. But I tripped on a big rock and hit my head. When I woke up, it was already night, he was gone, and I was alone in the middle of nowhere. Hungry, thirsty, hurt, and very scared. Scared of dying alone, scared of the wild animals, scared that nobody would ever find me. I stayed there for 2 days, drinking rotten water from a small puddle, eating some sour little fruits that I found on a prickly pear cactus, until I passed by there. Until you passed by there and saved me. She turned to me, her eyes red from crying so much, but with a new shine that wasn't there before. JB, I will never forget the moment I heard your voice calling me. I thought it was an angel, that I had died, and St. Peter was calling me to heaven. I'm not an angel, honey. I'm just a man who couldn't let a creature of God die in the brush. To me, you are an angel. You brought me back to life. We were silent for a while. Anna returned to the table, finished eating the eggs that had gotten cold. I kept thinking about the whole story, about the wickedness of those people, about the courage of that girl who survived so much bad stuff. Anna, yes. Are you sure you want to stay here? Not out of gratitude, not because you don't have another place, but because you really want to? I'm sure. For the first time in my life, I feel safe, I feel loved, I feel at home. Then you stay for as long as you want. And if those people come after me, if they come, we'll solve it together. You're not alone in the world anymore. Thank you, JB, for everything, for saving me, for taking care of me, for giving me a family. I thank you, honey. Why? For bringing life back to this house. For giving me a reason to wake up every day wanting to live. That afternoon, Anna insisted on helping with the housework. She washed dishes, swept the yard, helped hang clothes on the clothesline. She worked slowly, still got tired easily, but she worked with pleasure, as if she had finally found her place in the world. At night, we were talking on the porch. She in the rocking chair where Mary spent the afternoons, I in the wicker chair next to her. The sky was starry, without a cloud. The night breeze relieved the heat of the day. It's beautiful here, she said, rocking slowly. Mary always said that, said she wouldn't trade that view for a mansion in the big city. She was right. There's a peace here that I've never felt anywhere else. And you, Anna, never thought about getting married, having children, starting a family? I thought about it when I was younger, before everything went wrong. But then I thought I didn't deserve to be happy, that I wasn't good for anything anyway, like Cleusa always said. That's a lie. You are good for a lot. You're hardworking, you're brave, you're good at heart. You think so? I'm sure of it. And one day a good guy will come along who will see those qualities and will want to start a family with you. And you? Never thought about getting married again? The question caught me off guard. It had been a long time since anyone had touched on that subject. I think about it sometimes, but it's difficult. Mary was a very great love, very beautiful, hard to find another like her. Doesn't have to be the same, can be different and be good in the same way. Can be, but for now I'm fine like this. I have you now, I have company, I have someone to take care of. JB, yes honey, can I call you Dad? The question hit me in the chest like a punch. Dad. The word I always wanted to hear and never heard. You can. It would be an honor for me. And can I be your real daughter? You already are, since the day I brought you home. Anna got up from the rocking chair and came to hug me. I felt her small body trembling with emotion in my arms. Thank you, Dad, for giving me a family when I had nothing in the world. Thank you, daughter, for making a lonely old man feel important again. That night, when she went to sleep, I stayed longer on the porch looking at the stars, thinking about life, about destiny, about the strange paths that God chooses to bring people together. A month ago, I was a bitter widower waiting for death to arrive. Anna was a desperate girl waiting for the same thing. Now I had a daughter of the heart, and she had a father of the heart. I had a house full of life, and she had a safe place in the world. All because I decided to fix a broken fence on a random morning. All because fate still had plans for us both. 6 weeks after Anna arrived at the ranch, our life had found a good rhythm. She woke up with me before sunrise, prepared the coffee while I took care of the cattle, and when I came back from the morning chores, there was always hot food on the table and a good conversation waiting for me. The house that was silent like a cemetery became a real home, with the smell of homemade bread, the sound of pots on the stove, and that pleasant feeling of having someone to share the small events of the day. Anna had gained a few pounds. Her skin was no longer dry. Her hair shone with health. But the best thing of all was to see how she was rediscovering the joy of living. She hummed softly when she swept the yard, smiled when she saw the mockingbirds building a nest in the mango tree, spent hours taking care of the garden that Mary planted and that I let die after she left. That Thursday morning, I woke up with a strange feeling in my chest. It wasn't physical pain, it was more of a restlessness, as if something bad was about to happen. The sky was more closed than normal for the time of year, heavy clouds accumulating on the horizon, and the cattle were restless in the pasture, moving more than usual. "Dad, are you okay?" Anna asked when she saw me stirring distractedly in the breakfast coffee. "I'm fine, honey. Just a little worried about the weather. Looks like it's going to rain hard, and the pond is already almost overflowing with the rains from last week." "Isn't rain a good thing? You always complain about the drought. Rain in the right measure is a blessing. Too much rain turns into a curse, and by the looks of the clouds, this one is going to be a doozy." I went out to do chores earlier than normal, wanting to check if the fences were firm and if the animals had somewhere to shelter if the storm really came. Anna stayed at home, said she was going to take advantage of it to sew some buttons that had fallen off my Sunday shirt. Roan was restless too, pulling to one side and the other, his ears perked up capturing sounds that I couldn't hear. The birds had disappeared, something that always happens when a big storm is coming. The air was heavy, stuffy, charged with electricity. It was when I was coming back from the furthest pasture that I saw the pickup truck on the road. Faded blue, old, with the body dented in several places. It was coming slowly, raising little dust, as if the driver was looking for something, or someone. My heart skipped a beat. Anna had described Ronaldo's pickup truck to me several times. Old blue, noisy, smelling of burnt oil. Could it be the same one? The pickup truck stopped at the ranch gate. A tall, skinny man got out, with a face that wasn't very friendly. Even from a distance, you could see that he wasn't good people. He had that posture of someone who is used to solving things by force, by yelling, by intimidation. I touched Roan in the direction of the house, but without running, without showing haste. I didn't want to give the impression that I was worried. When I arrived in the yard, the man was already on the porch, talking to Anna through the screen door. "Good afternoon," I said, getting off the horse. "Good afternoon," he replied, looking me up and down. "Are you the owner here?" "I am, John J.B. Santos. How can I help you?" "I'm Reynaldo Silva. I'm looking for a person. A young woman, black hair, in her early 20s. They say she's been around these parts." I felt the blood run cold in my veins. It was him, the bastard who abandoned Anna to die. "I don't know any girl with that description," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Are you sure? Because I have reliable information that you brought a woman to your house a few weeks ago. The neighbors saw it. Damn it. Someone had talked. In a small town, news travels like wildfire. Brought my niece. Came from California after her father died." "Your niece?" He laughed, but the laugh had no humor at all. "What an interesting coincidence. The girl I'm looking for is also someone's niece. My wife's niece, to be more exact. I don't know anything about that. I'm going to be straight with you. Anna ran away from home after stealing $2,000 and a gold necklace from the family. Clusa is desperate, crying day and night. Wants the girl back home. A blatant lie. Anna didn't steal a cent from anyone, but I knew that arguing wouldn't do any good. As I said, I don't know any girl with that name." Reynaldo took 2 steps towards me. He smelled of cheap whiskey and regular cigarettes, and had that way of someone who solves everything with a fist fight. "Listen here, old man. I know she's in your house. I know you made up this niece story to fool others. But it doesn't work with me. And what do you want?" "I want you to hand over Anna to me. Willingly or unwillingly. Or what? Or things are going to get very complicated for you two." The threat hung in the air like cigarette smoke. I looked around and saw that he hadn't come alone. There were 2 more men in the pickup truck waiting. "Excuse me, but I have work to do. If you want to look for this girl you're talking about, I suggest you go to the town's sheriff's office. They can help you better there." "Sheriff's office?" He smiled again, that bad smile. "The sheriff's office already knows about the situation. They already have an order to arrest the girl as soon as she appears." "Order for what?" "For arrest. For theft and running away from home. Clusa filed a complaint yesterday." Lie upon lie. Anna was of age. She couldn't be arrested for running away from home. And as for the theft, it was word against word. If there's a warrant for arrest, then you don't need me for anything. Just call the police, and that's it. The police take too long. They're bureaucratic. We prefer to solve things our way. What way? The quick way, the way that doesn't give anyone trouble. The tone of the conversation was getting heavier and heavier. I felt that Anna must be hearing everything from the other side of the screen door, scared to death. "Look, friend, I don't know what kind of trouble you have with this girl. But here on my property, there's not going to be any trouble of any kind. If you want to solve something, solve it far from here. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, old man. Anna is in here, I know she is, and I'm not leaving here without her." It was at that moment that I heard the sound of the engine approaching. Another pickup truck, this one white, coming up the dirt road. My heart skipped a beat. Would it be reinforcement for them? But when the pickup truck stopped in the yard, someone got out who brought me relief. Sheriff Brody, alone, but uniformed and armed. "Good afternoon, everyone. Any problem here?" "No problem, Sheriff," Reynaldo said, changing his tone right away. "Just came to get my niece who's visiting Mr. Santos." "Your niece?" The sheriff looked at me. "JB, do you have a visitor?" "I do, Sheriff Brody. My niece Anna, daughter of my sister who died in California. She's been living with me for a few weeks." "And you?" The sheriff turned to Reynaldo. "You're related to her how?" "I'm the brother-in-law of the deceased. I came to get the girl because the family is worried." "I understand, and she wants to go home." "Of course she wants to," Reynaldo lied shamelessly. "She misses home, her siblings." "Then there's no problem. Let's talk to her and resolve this civilly." The sheriff clapped his hands. Anna, come here for a minute." The screen door opened slowly. Anna appeared pale as wax, trembling all over. When she saw Reynaldo, she clung to the doorframe as if she were going to faint. "No," she whispered. "Please, no. Anna, this gentleman says he's your brother-in-law, says he came to get you to go back home." "He's not my brother-in-law," she shouted, her voice coming out shrill. "He's the bastard who abandoned me in the brush to die." "Anna, stop making up lies," Reynaldo said, feigning a worried voice. "You ran away from home, stole money from Cleusa. The whole family is looking for you." "Lies! I never stole anything from anyone. You threw me away like trash." "Calm down, Anna," the sheriff said. "Let's talk calmly. Do you have your documents?" Anna looked at me desperately. She had no documents. Everything had stayed with the family when she was kicked out of the house. She doesn't have a document because she ran away in a hurry. Reynaldo took advantage of the situation. She took the money and the jewelry and ran away in the middle of the night. "That's a lie!" Anna cried. "I didn't run away. He brought me far from the city and left me in the middle of the brush to die." "Where are her documents?" the sheriff asked Reynaldo. "At home, with Cleusa. We kept everything after she ran away. And the money she supposedly stole? $2,000 that Cleusa had saved to pay the bills for the month, and a gold necklace that belonged to her mother." Lie after lie, but told with so much conviction that even those who didn't know the situation could believe it. "JB, what do you know about this story?" the sheriff asked me. "I know that I found this girl almost dead in my pasture 6 weeks ago. Dehydrated, hurt, abandoned to die. I know that I took care of her, gave her food, medicine, love, and I know that she never stole anything from anyone." "Mr. Santos is being deceived," Reynaldo said. "Anna is very clever. She knows how to pretend well. Convinces anyone with this sob story." "I'm not pretending anything," Anna shouted. "Please, Sheriff, don't let him take me. He's going to kill me." "Nobody's going to kill anyone," the sheriff said. "But the situation is confusing. If there's a complaint filed, if her documents are with the family—" "Sheriff Brody," I interrupted, "this girl arrived here in deplorable condition, almost dead. If she had stolen something, she would have run far away. She wouldn't have stayed lost in the brush for days." "Yeah, makes sense," the sheriff thought. "Reynaldo, where exactly do you say she ran away from?" "From San Antonio. Our house is there." "And you didn't look for the police there?" "We did, yes. There's a police report and everything." "Then let's do the following," the sheriff decided. "I'm going to call the sheriff's office in San Antonio. Check this story. If there really is a police report, if there really is a warrant for arrest, then we'll resolve it according to the law." "No need to call anywhere," Reynaldo said, nervous. "The girl is from our family. We came to get her willingly." "Need to. Procedure is procedure." The sheriff picked up the radio of the patrol car and began to contact San Antonio. Reynaldo became visibly nervous, looking at the companions who had stayed in the pickup truck. After a few minutes, the sheriff turned off the radio with a face that didn't like what he heard. "Interesting," he said. "The sheriff's office in San Antonio has no police report registered in the name of Ana Luis Santos Oliveira. Neither theft, nor disappearance, nor anything." "No, there must have been some mistake," Reynaldo tried to justify himself. "There must have been indeed. And you know something more interesting? They told me that they know your name, Reynaldo, that you've had some problems over there. Domestic violence, threats, those things. That's the past. Past that explains a lot about the present. Anna, do you want to go with this man?" "No, please, no. I'm afraid of him." "JB, do you want her to continue living in your house?" "I do. She's welcome for as long as she wants to stay." "Then it's settled. Anna stays. And you," he pointed at Reynaldo, "you leave. Now." "This is not going to stay like this," Reynaldo growled. "The girl is from our family. The girl is of age and is under the protection of a reputable person. If you continue to disturb, I'm going to have to take more serious measures. What kind of measures? The kind that will make you spend a few days in jail thinking about life. Ronaldo looked at the sheriff, at me, at Anna. He saw that he had lost the fall, that he wouldn't be able to take her by force. "This is not over," he said, getting in the pickup truck. "We'll be back. If you come back without a warrant, you'll be arrested for trespassing and threatening. I'm warning you." The blue pickup truck left raising dust, leaving a bad smell of burnt oil in the air. Anna collapsed in the chair on the porch, crying with relief. "Thank you, Sheriff," she whispered. "Thank you for not letting them take me." "You're welcome, girl, but you two need to stay alert. These kinds of people don't give up easily." "What can we do?" I asked. "First, Anna needs to get her documents. Without a document, it's difficult to prove anything. Second, you should file a complaint against this Reynaldo for abandonment and threats. We'll do that on Monday," I promised. "And third," the sheriff looked at the sky that was getting more and more overcast, "you stay alert to strange movements around here. If you see that pickup truck again, call me right away." After the sheriff left, Anna and I stayed on the porch talking. She was still trembling. The scare hadn't passed yet. "Dad, he said he was coming back." "He said, but now the police know the situation. It won't be so easy for him. And if he brings more people, and if they come at night when you're sleeping, then we'll be prepared. Telephone on the bedside table, shotgun loaded, roan in the pasture near the house to warn if someone arrives." "I'm afraid, Dad. Very afraid." "I know, honey. But fear is something that passes when we face it head on. And you're not alone anymore. You have a dad now. You have a house. You have someone to protect you." "Would you really do that? Would you protect me even if it cost your life?" "I would, without thinking twice." "Why?" "Because you're my daughter. And Dad protects daughter, no matter the price." Anna hugged me tight, still trembling a little. "Thank you for choosing me. For choosing to defend me when it would be easier to hand me over. I thank you for having chosen me too. For having trusted me when you had every reason not to trust any man." That night, the storm arrived for good. Heavy rain, strong wind, lightning cutting through the dark sky. The whole house trembled with the sound of thunder. Anna stayed awake all night, startling with every different noise. In the morning, she knocked on my bedroom door. "Dad, can I sleep here on the floor? I'm scared." "You can sleep in the bed itself. It's big. There's room for both of us." "Are you sure?" "I am. Scared daughter sleeps close to Dad." She lay down on the other side of the bed, huddled like a child. And for the first time since Mary died, I didn't feel alone in the dark. "Dad." "Yes. Thank you for not handing me over to Reynaldo." "Don't thank me for that. It's a father's obligation to protect his daughter. And thank you for having given me a family when I had nothing in the world. I thank you for having given me a reason to live again." The storm continued until dawn. But there inside the house, Anna and I were safe, together, protected by the strength of the love that had been born between us. Love of father and daughter that fate brought together when we needed each other most, and that no Reynaldo in this world would be able to separate. Fear has a smell. I discovered that 3 weeks after Reynaldo's visit, when I woke up in the morning with Rowan neighing nervously in the pasture. It was a different neigh, not of pain or hunger, but of alert. The type of sound that a horse makes when it senses danger. I got out of bed slowly, trying not to make noise so as not to wake Anna. She had managed to sleep alone in her room in the last nights, but she still woke up startled with any strange noise. I went to the window and looked at the yard illuminated by the full moon. Nothing. Only the shadows of the trees swaying in the cool morning breeze. But Roan continued restless, walking from one side to the other on the fence, his ears perked up. And when a 20-year-old horse gets like that, it's because there's something wrong in the air. That's when I heard the sound of the engines. Low first, distant, as if they were coming slowly along the dirt road. Then louder, closer. 2, maybe 3 vehicles coming up the road that led to the ranch. My heart skipped a beat. 2 in the morning. No one makes a visit in the middle of the night for a good reason. I put on my pants quickly, picked up the 12-gauge shotgun that I kept behind the door, and went to wake Anna. "Honey, Anna, wake up." She opened her eyes right away, already startled. She had developed this reflex of someone who lives in fear, waking up switched on, ready to run. "What is it, Dad?" "There are people arriving, more than one car. Go to the back room, lock yourself in there, and don't come out for anything. If you hear a shot, you grab the phone and call Sheriff Brody." "It's them, isn't it?" "I don't know, but we're not going to wait to find out." Anna got out of bed quickly, still in her nightgown, her hair messed up from sleep. But her eyes were wide awake now, full of the terror that I knew well. "Dad, what if they take you? What if they do something to you because of me?" "They're not going to do anything. Go, honey, hide and let me solve this. I don't want you to get hurt because of me." "Anna," I said harder than I wanted, "go to the room, now." She ran to the back of the house. I heard the door slam and the key turn in the lock. I took a deep breath, checked if the shotgun was loaded, and went to the porch to wait. 3 pickup trucks came up the dirt road, headlights cutting through the darkness. They stopped in the yard, forming a semicircle, as if they wanted to surround the house. 6 men got out, including Reynaldo, all with unfriendly faces, some with tools in their hands, piece of iron, machete, hammer. They hadn't come to talk. "Good night, Mr. Santos," Reynaldo said, getting closer. "Sorry for the hour, but we have a matter to resolve." "What hours are these for a visit?" "It's 2 in the morning, the hour that we want." "Where's Anna?" "Sleeping, and she's not going to be woken up because of bums." Reynaldo laughed dryly and signaled to the other men. They spread around the porch, surrounding me like a pack of stray dogs. "Stop screwing around, old man. We know she's here. And this time, there won't be a sheriff to get in the way. Didn't need one. You're not going to enter my house. We are, and you're going to give way, willingly or unwillingly." One of the men, short and fat with the face of a thug, came closer, brandishing a rusty piece of iron. "Boss, do you want me to soften this stubborn old man?" "Not necessary yet. He's going to cooperate." "I'm not going to cooperate with anything," I said, raising the shotgun. "This is private property. You're committing a crime." "Crime?" Reynaldo spat on the ground. "Crime is hiding a runaway minor. Crime is being a receiver of a thief. Anna is not a minor. She's 22 years old, and she didn't steal anything. Stop lying. We know she took the money from Closer, and now she's going to return it with interest." "What money? You abandoned that girl to die in the brush." "Abandoned nothing. She ran away alone after stealing from the family that took care of her for 2 years. Blatant lies, but told with such conviction that even they must believe it themselves." "Anna!" Reynaldo shouted towards the house. "Anna, I know you're in there. Come out now, or your uncle here is going to get hurt bad." Total silence. Only the sound of the wind in the leaves of the mango tree and the sound of the crickets that were quieting down as the tension increased. "See?" I said. "She's not here. She is, and we're going to prove it." Reynaldo nodded to 2 men. They went up on the porch, one on the right, the other on the left. I pointed the shotgun at the first one, but there were too many for one 60-year-old man. "Stop there," I said, trying to sound more confident than I felt. "The first one who takes another step gets led." "You're not going to shoot anyone, old man," Reynaldo said. "You don't have the guts. Want to bet?" "I do, because if you shoot one, the other 5 are going to break you all up, and then Anna will be all alone." The logic was cruel, but it was logic. I could hit 1, maybe 2, but after that it would just be wood breaking, and Anna would be unprotected. "Besides," Reynaldo continued, "we don't want to hurt anyone. We just want to take the girl back to her family, where she belongs. She belongs here. This is her home now. Home, nothing. Anna's place is with her stepmother, paying for what she did. Paying how? Returning what she stole, and begging forgiveness on her knees for the disappointment she caused. The short man came closer, still with the iron in his hand. "Boss, let me teach this old man a lesson, just so he learns good manners." "Calm down, Zay. First, let's try nicely." Ronaldo turned to me again. "Mr. Santos, you seem like an intelligent man. You're not going to want trouble because of a girl who's not even really your relative. She's my daughter. I adopted her." "Adopted how? Do you have papers?" "I have love passed. That's worth more than any paper. Love doesn't solve legal problems. Anna is from our family, ran away from home, stole money. Clusa has all the rights over her." "Right to abandon her in the brush to die?" "Nobody abandoned anyone. That's her invention to win your sympathy." The conversation was going around in circles. They weren't going to give up easily, and I couldn't face 6 men alone. I needed to buy time, hope that someone would pass on the road, that some neighbor would hear the noise. That's when I heard the voice. "Stop!" Anna appeared at the door, trembling all over, but with her eyes firm. She had put on jeans and a white blouse, her hair tied in a ponytail. She was scared but not desperate. There was something decided about her manner. "Anna, go back inside," I shouted. "No, Dad, I can't let them hurt you because of me." "Now that's it." Ronaldo smiled like a buzzard seeing carrion. "Come here, Anna. We have a lot to talk about. I'm not going with you." "You are, even if I have to drag you by your hair. You abandoned me to die. You threw me in the brush like trash. Why do you want to take me back?" "Because you stole from the family. Because you have to pay for what you did." "I never stole anything from anyone. $2,000 and a gold necklace. Clusa is crying with disappointment." "Clusa doesn't cry for me. She cries with anger because I escaped." Anna went down the steps of the porch slowly, as if she were walking to the gallows. When she passed near me, she whispered, "Thank you for everything, Dad. You gave me the happiest months of my life." "Anna, don't do this." "I have to do it. They're going to hurt you if I don't go." Ronaldo reached out to grab her arm. Anna flinched, but didn't resist. "See how easy it is when everyone cooperates? Now you're coming with me to resolve this situation once and for all." "What situation?" I asked. "The situation of the stolen money. Anna is going to work to pay back every cent." "Work how?" "The way Clusa tells her to. Cleaning house, cooking, taking care of the children, until she pays off the debt." "That's slavery. That's justice." Ronaldo pulled Anna by the arm, making her stumble. The instinct of a father spoke louder than fear. I advanced on him with the butt of the shotgun raised. "Get your hands off my daughter." But they were 6. They held me before I could hit anyone. 2 men grabbed my arms, immobilized me. The shotgun fell on the floor of the porch. "Now you've really gotten yourself into it, old man," Ronaldo growled, wiping a thread of blood that ran from his lip. "No one hits me and gets away with it." The first punch hit my stomach. I doubled over in pain, unable to breathe. The second hit my face, cracked my lip. The third, "Stop, stop, please!" Anna shouted, trying to break free from the man who was holding her. "He didn't do anything! I'm going with you! I already said I'm going!" "Now it's too late," Ronaldo said, preparing to hit me again. "This old man needs to learn respect." That's when we heard the noise, engine of a pickup truck approaching quickly on the road, headlight cutting through the night. Everyone stopped, looked in the direction of the noise. The white pickup truck entered the yard, skidding, raising dust. 4 men got out, Sheriff Brody and 3 state troopers, all armed, all serious. "Police! Everyone on the ground! Now!" Ronaldo's henchmen dropped my arms and threw themselves on the dirt. Ronaldo himself hesitated, still holding Anna by the arm. "Let go of the girl and lie on the ground," the sheriff shouted, pointing the gun. "Calm down, Sheriff Brody," Ronaldo said, trying to smile. "It's just a family misunderstanding. I came to get my niece who ran away from home." "Niece, nothing. Let her go. Now!" Ronaldo released Anna's arm, but didn't lie on the ground. "Sheriff, we're within our rights. The girl stole money from the family." Where's the police report? We didn't have time to register it yet. Then there's no crime. And trespassing, racketeering, threatening, and assault I'm seeing here now. The sheriff signaled to the state troopers. They handcuffed Ronaldo and the others, one by one. JB, are you okay? I spat blood, wiped my cracked lip with the sleeve of my shirt. I'm alive, hurt, but alive. And you, ma'am? The sheriff asked Anna. This man, he and his wife abandoned me in the brush to die 2 months ago. Now they've come back to take me by force, saying that I stole money. Lies, Ronaldo yelled. She's a thief. She ran away with $2,000 from our house. If she really stole, why didn't you register an occurrence? Why did you come here in the middle of the night with half a dozen thugs instead of calling the police? It's that you know the story is a lie. Anna, do you want to go with them? No, please don't let them take me. They're going to kill me. Nobody's going to kill anyone, and nobody's going to take anyone without a court order. Die. While the troopers put the handcuffs on the men, the sheriff approached me. How did you know they were here? I asked. Your neighbor, old Mr. Peterson, saw the pickup trucks passing by his property in the morning. He thought it was strange and called me. Glad we arrived in time. Thank you very much, Sheriff. If you didn't arrive, we arrived. That's what we exist for. Anna ran to me and hugged me tight. I felt her trembling all over, her thin arms tight on my neck. Dad, I thought they were going to kill you. I thought the same thing, but it's all right now. Is it really? It is. They're going to jail and we're left in peace. But deep down, I knew it wasn't going to be that simple. People like Ronaldo don't give up easily, and prison in the interior, depending on the bail, sometimes only lasts a few hours. Sheriff Brody, I called the sheriff before he left. Yes, JB. How long will this bunch stay in jail? Trespassing, racketeering, threatening, assault. If the judge wants, he can give them 2-3 years. And if he doesn't want to, then they can pay bail and leave tomorrow. And if they leave, then you call me right away. Any strange movement, any threat, you call me. Okay. After the police left, taking Ronaldo and his gang, Anna and I were alone in the yard. The house was messy. There was blood on the floor of the porch, the chairs knocked down. Come on, I said. Let's clean up this mess and try to sleep what's left of the night. Dad, I'm afraid of them coming back. Me too. But fear is something that we face together. And if next time the police don't arrive in time, next time we're going to be more prepared. How? I'm going to buy a revolver for you to learn to shoot. I'm going to install a bell connected from the gate to here in the house. I'm going to get some guard dogs. Would you do all that to protect me? I would and I will. You're my daughter, Anna, and Dad protects daughter, whatever the cost. Even knowing that I only brought trouble into your life? Honey, you didn't bring trouble. You brought meaning. This house was dead for 5 years. You woke her up again. Woke me up again. But what if? Enough of what if. Life is now, at this moment. And at this moment you're here, you're safe, and you have a family that loves you. She smiled through the tears. A small but true smile. I love you, Dad. I love you like the father I never really had. And I love you, daughter, more than if you had been born of my blood. We cleaned the house in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. When we finished, it was almost dawn. The sun was beginning to appear behind the mountains, painting the sky pink. Anna, yes? Do you really want to stay here, with all the problems that this can bring? I do. Here is my home. You are my family. No matter how many Ronaldos appear, I'm not going to abandon what we built together. Are you sure? Absolutely. You gave me a second chance in life, taught me that I was worth something, gave me love when I thought I didn't deserve to be loved, and you gave me a reason to continue living when I was already giving up. So we saved each other. We saved each other. We stayed there on the porch until the sun rose completely, talking about the future, making plans, dreaming of better days. For the first time since she arrived, Anna spoke about tomorrow without fear in her voice. And for the first time in 5 years, I also managed to dream of a future that wasn't just loneliness and longing. The danger had passed for now. Reynaldo and his gang were in jail. The house was ours again. But I knew that the fight wasn't over. People like that don't give up easily. They would come back one way or another. Only now they were going to find a real family. A father willing to die for his daughter, and a daughter willing to face anything for her father. And that made all the difference in the world. Life had taught us that after every storm, there is always calm. But it also taught us that we need to be prepared for the next storm. And we were going to be. 3 months after that terrible night, our life had found a direction that I never imagined. Reynaldo and his gang got 2 years in jail. The judge had no pity. Trespassing, racketeering, threatening, assault, attempted kidnapping. The list of crimes was long, and the sentence came heavy. Anna cried with relief when Sheriff Brody came to bring the news. It was as if a giant weight had been lifted from her shoulders. "It's over, honey," I said, seeing her wipe her tears on the apron she was wearing to cook. "Now you can live in peace. 2 years is a long time. It's enough time for us to build a life so solid that when they get out it won't matter anymore." And that's exactly what we started to do. The first thing was to legalize Anna's situation. We took the road to San Antonio on a Saturday morning. Me, her and Mrs. Garcia, who offered to go together. Anna was nervous about the trip. It was the first time she had left the region since she arrived at the ranch. "What if someone recognizes me there?" she asked, fidgeting with her hands all the way. "San Antonio is a big city, honey. It has more than 1 million inhabitants. Nobody's going to notice you. And if Clusa's family has spread my photo around there, they didn't spread anything. People like that don't want to attract the attention of the police." At the registry office, the clerk was friendly. Anna presented the marriage certificate of her parents, the only thing she had managed to save when she was kicked out of the house. And based on it, she managed to get a second copy of her birth certificate. "Ana Luis Santos Oliveira," she read aloud, holding the new document as if it were treasure. "Born on April 15th, 2002, daughter of José Oliveira dos Santos and Maria das Dores dos Santos Oliveira. 22 years old," I said, relieved. "Now they can never say that you're a minor again." The next step was the ID. At the police station, the process took longer. Photo, fingerprint, forms. Anna was tense, but the officer who attended us was professional, polite, without suspicion. "The document will be ready in 5 business days," he explained. "But I can give you a provisional protocol that has legal validity throughout the country." "It works," I said, guarding the paper carefully. Finally, we went to the IRS to make the Social Security card. More paperwork, more waiting. But at the end of the day, Anna had all the basic documents that a person needs to officially exist in the world. "Ready?" she said, putting the papers in the small bag that we bought in the city. "Now I really exist. You always existed, honey. Now you can prove it." On the way home, Anna was different, more confident, more sure of herself. She talked about plans, about the future, about things she wanted to do. "Dad, now that I have a document, I can work for real." "What kind of work do you want?" "Something that I know how to do well, something that is useful." "And what do you know how to do well?" "So, my mother taught me since I was little. I was good at it before life went wrong." Her idea took me by surprise, but it made sense right away. "Seamstress. Yes, here in the region there must be people needing. Clothing reform, hem of pants, zipper repair, those things. Mary had a sewing machine stored in her room. Old Singer, but working. If you want to use..." "Can I see?" I took her to the room that I hadn't entered for 3 years. It smelled of stagnant time, of mothballs, of longing kept in closed drawers. The machine was there in the corner, covered by a white sheet embroidered by hand. Anna uncovered the machine carefully, ran her fingers on the polished metal, tested the pedal. It's beautiful and it's in perfect condition. Mary loved to sew. She made clothes for her, for me, for the godchildren. She said that sewing was like praying. It relaxed the mind and quieted the heart. Can I really use it? You can. I'm sure Mary would be happy knowing that her machine is back to work. Anna plugged the machine into the outlet. The engine purred softly, satisfied. She took a scrap of cloth that was in the drawer and tested a few stitches, adjusted the tension of the line. "It's perfect," she said, smiling. "Dad, are you sure you don't mind? I'm going to make noise during the day. I'm going to take up space." "Anna, this house has 8 big rooms. The 2 of us living here is a party. You can use what you want, how you want." That same day, we went to town to buy supplies. Threads of all colors, basic fabrics, seamstress scissors, tape measure, pins, thimble. Anna chose everything carefully, calculating the price, thinking about what would be most useful. "You don't have to save so much," I said when she stopped buying some prettier fabrics. "Initial investment is important to start well, but I don't have how to pay you now. You pay when you start earning money. No rush, no interest." At Mrs. Gable's store, Anna asked if there was demand for a seamstress in the area. "Girl, you arrived at the right time," Mrs. Gable said excitedly. "The seamstress who was here moved to DC 3 months ago. I have a lot of customers asking where to find someone to make pant hems, repair clothes, those things. Can you promote my work?" "I can. If you're really good, there won't be a lack of service." "And where can I leave my name and phone number?" "Leave it here in the store. I write it down and pass it on to interested customers." We returned home with the pickup truck loaded with hope. Anna could hardly contain the excitement, fiddling with the packages, planning where she was going to set up the work corner. "Dad, will I be able to do it? Will people like my work?" "They'll like it. You're careful, meticulous, you have good taste, and more importantly, it needs to work out. So it's going to work out." "How can you be so sure?" "Because you're hungry. Hungry to win, hungry to grow, hungry to prove to the world that you're worth something, and whoever has that hunger doesn't give up easily." Anna installed the studio in the guest room where she stayed when she arrived. She said that she felt protected, inspired there. She organized everything with care. The singer machine on a large table near the window to take advantage of the natural light. The fabrics on a bookshelf improvised with boards and bricks. The lines organized by color in a wooden box that I made for her. The first service arrived a week later. Mrs. Davidson, who lived in town but had a ranch near the farm, appeared with a skirt that needed shortening and 2 blouses that were too wide. "I heard that there's a new seamstress working here." "It's my daughter," I said with pride. "Anna, come here to meet Mrs. Davidson." Anna appeared a little shy, but soon let go when she started talking about the work. She measured the clothes on Mrs. Davidson, marked with pins where she was going to cut, explained how she was going to make each adjustment. "It'll be ready in 3 days. Is that okay?" "It's fine, honey. How much will it be?" Anna made a fair price. Not too expensive to scare away customers, nor too cheap to devalue the work. "I'll pay in advance," Mrs. Davidson said. "I like people who keep their word." "First customer," Anna commented after Mrs. Davidson left, her eyes shining with happiness. "First of many." Anna worked on Mrs. Davidson's clothes with the care of someone who makes works of art. She measured 3 times before cutting, tested each seam on a scrap, ironed with care on each piece. When Mrs. Davidson returned to pick up the clothes, she didn't believe the result. "Girl, what a wonderful job. This skirt is better than when I bought it in the store. And the blouses, they seem tailored for me." "Did you really like it, Mrs. Davidson?" "I liked it so much that I'm going to send all my friends here. You have a gift, you know." Anna grew 3 inches taller with pride. After Mrs. Davidson left, she came running to the kitchen where I was having afternoon coffee. "Dad! Dad, she liked it." I knew she was going to like it. Work done with love always pleases. She said she's going to send her friends to come here. She will. Good advertising is satisfied customer. Anna hugged me tight, like a child who just won a new bike. Thank you for believing in me when I didn't even believe in myself. I thank you for letting me be part of your dream. The following weeks flew by. The sound of the singer machine became the soundtrack of the house. Anna woke up early, worked until lunchtime, rested during the heat of the afternoon, returned to sewing at the end of the day when the light became softer. Customers began to appear. First, the closest neighbors, then people from the city, then people from other cities who came just to see her work. Dress reform, pant hem, zipper repair, curtain for new window, school uniform, party dress. Anna had a natural way with people. She talked, suggested color and model, explained how to take care of the clothes to last longer. The customers left satisfied and returned with more service, bringing friends and relatives. A month after the first job, she looked for me on the porch with an envelope in her hand. "Dad, here's the money you invested in my business. You managed to gather it all?" "I did, with 5% interest." "Anna, you didn't need interest." "Yes, I did. You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Interest is the least I can pay for that trust." I took the envelope, but didn't open it right away. "I'm very proud of you, honey." "Really?" "Very proud. In a month you built a solid clientele, a reputation. That's not easy anywhere. It was you who gave me the opportunity. I just opened the door, you who entered and conquered your space." That night, having dinner in the kitchen that now always had tasty food and good conversation, Anna was different. More confident, more talkative, full of plans for the future. "Dad, I'm thinking about something." "What?" "Mrs. Gable said that I can put some ready-made pieces in her store to sell on consignment. Simple blouses, basic skirts, clothes that everyone uses." "Good idea. That way you don't depend only on reform." "And there's a lady in Austin who called today. Wants me to make the complete trousseau for her daughter who's getting married. There are 15 pieces, dresses, skirts, blouses, even hand-embroidered underwear." "Is it a lot of work?" "It is, quite. But it pays very well too, and it'll be good for my resume to have made a complete trousseau." "Are you going to handle it?" "I will. And you know what else?" "What?" "I'm thinking about giving classes, teaching other girls to sew. Doing a basic course on weekends for those who want to learn a trade." I stopped eating, impressed with the idea. "You want to be a teacher too?" "I want to teach what I know. My mother always said that knowledge is only valuable when it is divided with other people." "Your mother was a very wise woman." "She was. And I want to honor her memory by doing something good in the world." "Anna, you know you're already doing it." "How so?" "You came out of the bottom of the well and built a new life. That's already inspiration for a lot of people. Now you still want to teach other people to have financial independence. That's doing good in the world." She lowered her eyes, emotional. "Sometimes I don't believe that my life has changed so much. A few months ago I was waiting for death in a dry pasture. Today I have a house, a family, a profession, a future. And today you also have something that you didn't have before. What is it? You have self-esteem. You know that you're worth something, that you're capable of conquering what you want. It was you who taught me that. I just showed what was already inside you, the strength, the intelligence, the determination. They were always there. They just needed an opportunity to appear." Anna got up from the table, came to my chair and gave me a kiss on the forehead, like a loving daughter. "Dad, can I say something that may sound kind of silly?" "You can say anything. I feel complete for the first time in my life. I have a family, I have a house, I have work that gives me pleasure, I have dreams for the future. I never thought it would be possible to be so happy. And it's going to get even happier. This is just the beginning of your story. How can you be so sure? Because you're only 22 years old and you've already shown a strength that many 60-year-olds don't have. Imagine everything you're still going to conquer ahead. And you? Are you happy too?" The question made me stop to think. Happiness. When was the last time I used that word for myself? "I am, honey. Very happy. You brought new life to this house, new meaning to my day-to-day. Made me remember how good it is to have someone to take care of and be taken care of. So we completed each other. We completed and formed a real family. Family chosen by the heart, the truest that exists. That night, after Anna went to sleep, I stayed longer on the porch, looking at the starry sky, thinking about life, about the strange paths that fate chooses to bring the right people together at the right time. 6 months ago, I was a bitter widower, counting the days for death to arrive. Anna was a desperate girl, thinking she wasn't worth anything in this world. Today, I had a prosperous and independent daughter of the heart. She had a father of the heart who believed in her. I had a house full of life and purpose. She had a safe place in the world where she could grow and dream. Mary's singer machine had gone back to work. The garden in the yard was green again. The closed rooms of the house had been opened. The silence had turned into conversation, laughter, good family noise. And best of all, Anna spoke about the future without fear in her voice. She made plans, dreamed big, believed in herself. She had become the strong and independent woman that she always had the potential to be. I looked at the sky full of stars and thanked. I thanked for having taken that shortcut on a random morning. I thanked for having found Anna at the exact moment when she needed it most. I thanked for her having chosen me as family when she could have distrusted everyone. Life had taught us that family is not just blood. It's love, care, daily choice of being together. That it's never too late to start over, to dream again, to open the heart to those who need it, and that the most important meetings of life happen when we least expect it, in the most improbable places, between people who seem to have nothing in common, but who in fact fit perfectly. Anna had found a father, I had found a daughter, and together we had found a reason to believe that life still reserved many good surprises for us both. The sound of the singer machine echoing through the house was the soundtrack of our regained happiness. 5 months after Anna officially opened the sewing business, a letter arrived that would change our life forever. It was a hot Monday in January, eve of St. Sebastian. Anna was on the machine since early, finishing the trousseau of that bride from Austin. 15 hand-embroidered pieces that she'd been doing for 2 months. The rhythmic noise of the singer mixed with the song of the mockingbirds in the yard and the cows mooing far away in the pasture. I was on the porch reading the newspaper of the week when I saw the mail motorcycle coming up the dusty road. I found it strange. Correspondence at the ranch was rare. Energy bill, notice from the city hall, store advertising. Nothing that came in an official envelope. The mailman got off with a large envelope in his hand. Letterhead paper, red notary seal. Serious stuff. Registered correspondence for Mr. John J.B. Santos and Miss Ana Louise Santos Oliveira. That's us. You need to sign here both. I called Anna, who came wiping her hands on her floral apron. We signed the protocol, took the envelope. The sender was a law office from D.C., Dr. Lawyer Augusto Pereira Filho and Associados. Who is this lawyer? Anna asked, frowning. I've never heard of him. Let's see what he wants. We opened the envelope carefully. The letter was written on paper with a watermark. Legal language difficult to understand, but the essential was clear. Someone had died and left inheritance. The name of the deceased made my heart skip a beat. José Antonio dos Santos Oliveira, Anna's father. Dad, this can't be right, Anna said, her voice trembling. My father had no inheritance to leave. He died poor. The house all stayed for Clusa. Read it again. Slowly. Anna read the whole letter, stopping at the most complicated parts, translating the legalese to normal English. It's saying that my father had a brother in D.C., Antonio dos Santos Oliveira, single, without children. He died last month and left everything to the closest relatives, and your closest relative. From what's written here, I'm his only living niece, the only direct heir. Inheritance of how much? Anna continued reading, her eyes widening as she understood what was written. Dad, this here is saying that he left a house in D.C., an apartment in Oklahoma City, and money in the bank. How much money? $800,000. I was speechless. $800,000 was more money than I had seen together in my whole life. Are you sure you read it right? I am. It's all written here. And there's more. He had a business, a small print shop in D.C. that also passed on to me. Anna, this changes everything. Changes how? You became a rich woman, independent for life. Anna sat in the chair on the porch, still holding the letter, as if she couldn't believe what was happening. Dad, I didn't even know this uncle existed. My father never spoke of any brother. Maybe they were fought, or maybe he left very young and lost contact. And why did he leave everything to me? He didn't even know me. Maybe he knew more than you think. Maybe he knew of the difficult situation that you went through. The letter explained that Anna needed to go to D.C. within 30 days to sign the inheritance papers, present documents, resolve the legal issues. Dad, I'm afraid. Afraid why? What if it's a scam? What if it's a lie to take me far from here? Anna, this here is official paper with a notary stamp, recognized signature. It's not a scam, but what if it is? What if it's some plan of Clousa to catch me? Clousa doesn't have money to hire a law office from D.C. And besides, she doesn't even know where you are. Are you sure? Absolutely. This here is real inheritance, honey. You became rich. Anna was silent for a long time, looking at the letter, then at the house, then at me. Dad, if this is really true, if I really get rich, our life will change completely. It will, for the better. Will it? Sometimes too much money brings too much trouble. Money doesn't bring trouble, it brings opportunity. Opportunity to do good things, to help people who need it, to fulfill dreams. What kind of dreams? Yours. That sewing school that you talked about, teaching poor girls to have a profession, setting up a co-op, growing the way you always wanted. Her eyes lit up when I thought about it. That's right. With that money, I could set up a real sewing school. With many machines, good teachers, free courses, you could do much more than that. How so? You could buy land, create jobs, help other families. You could be the change that this region needs. Do you think I could do it? I'm sure. You've already proven that you know how to turn opportunity into success. We spent the rest of the morning planning the trip to D.C. Anna was nervous. She had never traveled by plane. She had never been to such a big city. But she was also excited about the possibility of knowing the inheritance of the uncle that she didn't know existed. Dad, you're going with me, right? Of course I am. I wasn't going to let you face that alone. And if it takes longer than a few days, then it takes. The ranch stays there, the cattle are well taken care of, the neighbors help if needed. Are you sure you want to accompany me? It's an expensive trip, hotel in a big city. Anna, you're my daughter. Your success is my success. Your victories are my victories. Of course I'm going to be together. She hugged me tight, still emotional with the news. Dad, if all this really works out, I want you to be my partner in everything. Partner how? In what I'm going to do with this money. Sewing school, co-op, business, all together, half and half. Anna, this is yours. Inheritance from your uncle, you're right. But it was you who raised me, who taught me to work, who believed in me. Without you, I wouldn't have gotten here. Even so, Dad, I need you. I don't know how to deal with big money. I don't know how to set up a business. I don't know the legal things. You have experience, you have wisdom, you have people's trust. Alone, I can't. You can. But if you want my help, you can always count on it. So you accept being my partner? I accept, with great pride. We scheduled the trip for the following week. Anna finished the last seams of the trousseau. Beautiful work that the bride was going to be emotional to see. I arranged the things of the ranch, asked old Mr. Peterson to take a look at the cattle, cancelled the appointments. On the eve of the trip, Anna was anxious. She walked from one side of the house to the other, fiddling with things, reorganizing what was already organized. And if when I get there I discover that everything was a mistake, and if there's no inheritance, then we go back home and continue our life as it was before, no problem. And if there's inheritance, but it comes with some catch. What kind of catch? I don't know. Hidden debts, problems with the IRS, those things. That's what lawyers are for. We're going to hire a good, reliable one to check everything before signing any paper. You're right. I'm being silly, aren't I? You're not being silly. You're being careful. That's how it has to be. That night we were talking on the porch later than normal. Anna talked about the dreams that she could realize if the inheritance was true. Sewing school, vocational training center, daycare for the students' children, artisan co-op. Dad, if it really works out, I want to help girls who went through what I went through. Orphaned, abandoned, without opportunity girls. Beautiful idea. And I want to buy land here in the region. Good land to plant, to raise cattle, give employment to the people here. You're thinking of becoming a rancher? I'm thinking of being useful, of making a difference in people's lives. You already make a difference, honey. I make small, but with that money I can make a big difference. And you will, I'm sure. The plane took off at 10 in the morning, Anna squeezing my hand throughout the takeoff. When the clouds were down and the sky was clear up there, she smiled marvelously. It's beautiful, Dad. It's like flying in the sky of paradise. It is. And maybe it's a sign that good things await us down there. We arrived in DC in the middle of the afternoon. Big city, different from everything we knew. Tall buildings, wide avenues, a lot of movement. Anna was a little intimidated at first, but soon adapted. The law office was on a beautiful avenue in a modern glass building. Dr. Lawyer Augusto Pereira Filho was a middle-aged, elegant man who received us politely. Miss Anna, a pleasure. You must be the lady's father. Adoptive father, she corrected. JB raised me after I was orphaned. I understand. Well, let's get right to the point. The inheritance of Mr. Antonio dos Santos Oliveira is real and substantial. He showed the papers. House in DC. Valued at $300,000. Apartment in Oklahoma City valued at $200,000. The print shop that was worth another $150,000 and $800,000 in checking account and applications. Total of $1,450,000, the doctor said. All free of any charges or debt. Anna almost fainted in the chair. $1.5 million. $1,450,000 to be exact. Your uncle was a very hard-working and economical man. But why did he leave everything to me? He didn't even know me. Actually, he did. He hired a private investigator a few years ago to locate the living relatives. He knew of your father's death, of the difficult situation that you went through with the stepmother. He was very moved by your story. He knew that I was abandoned. He knew everything. That's why he left a letter for you, to be delivered along with the inheritance. The doctor gave us a sealed envelope. Anna opened with trembling hands. My dear niece Anna, if you are reading this letter, it is because I did not have the chance to meet you personally, as I always wanted. I am your father, Jose's brother. We misunderstood when we were young for nonsense, and when I tried to get closer, he had already died. I learned about your story through an investigator. I learned about the suffering that you went through, the courage that you had, the strength that you showed to rebuild your life. I was deeply touched by your journey. As I had no children, I decided to leave everything that I conquered in life to you. Not out of pity, but out of admiration. You deserve this inheritance because you survived what would kill many people. Use that money to be happy and to help other people who have gone through what you went through. I know that you have a good heart and will make good use of the inheritance. With all the love of an uncle who wanted to have met you, Antonio dos Santos Oliveira. Anna cried reading the letter. She cried of emotion, of gratitude, of relief. He knew everything that I went through and still wanted to help me. Your uncle was a very generous man, the doctor said, and he was sure that you would make good use of the inheritance. I will. I'm going to use that money to help other girls like me. Excellent decision. We spent 3 days in DC resolving all the paperwork, transfer of assets, opening of an account at the bank, knowledge of the properties. The house was beautiful, furnished, in a prime neighborhood. The apartment in Oklahoma City was also well preserved. The print shop was small but profitable, with fixed customers. Anna, you became a businesswoman, I said when we left the last registry. Businesswoman, owner, investor, things that I didn't even dream of being a few months ago. And now, what are the plans? First, I'm going to sell the apartment of Oklahoma City and the print shop. I don't know anything about those businesses. Then, I'm going to use the money to set up the most modern sewing school in the interior of Texas. And the House of DC? That one I keep. It may be that one day we need to come to live in the capital if the businesses grow a lot. You're thinking of leaving the ranch? No, the ranch is my home, it's where I'm happy. But it's good to have options, right? It is. On the way home, Anna was different. It wasn't just the money that had changed her. It was the certainty that she could dream big, that she had resources to turn dreams into reality. Dad, can I tell you something? You can tell anything. When you found me in that pasture, I thought that my life had ended, that I wasn't good for anything, that I wasn't worth anything. And today I know that I'm worth a lot. I know that I can make a difference in the world. I know that I can help hundreds of people to have a better life. That's the greatest wealth, honey, knowing your own value. I learned that with you who taught me that I was worth something. You who taught me that it was still worth dreaming at 60 years old. So we taught each other, we saved each other, and now we're going to build a future together that will be beautiful to see. The plane landed in San Antonio in the late afternoon, painting the sky golden. Anna looked through the window, seeing the land where she was born, where she suffered, where she found happiness. Dad, I'm coming back home as a completely different person from the one who left. How so? I left here as a seamstress who was starting to prosper. I'm coming back as a woman who can change the lives of many people. And you will really change, I'm sure. How can you be so sure? Because you have 2 things that money doesn't buy: good heart and experience of suffering. Whoever has those 2 things always does good with the resources that he receives. Thank you, Dad. For what? For having prepared me for this moment, for having taught me to work, to dream, to believe in myself. Without you, I wouldn't know what to do with this inheritance. You would know, because you have wisdom in your heart. But it's good to have you as a partner. It's good to know that I'm not going to face this new phase alone. You're never going to be alone, honey. While I have life, you're going to have a father to support you and advise you. And if everything works out, if we can set up the sewing school of our dreams, then we're going to sit on the porch of the house, looking at the students coming and going, satisfied to have contributed to changing the lives of so many people. Ah, what a beautiful image. The most beautiful I can imagine. We arrived at the ranch when the sun was setting. Anna got out of the pickup truck and stood in the middle of the yard, breathing deeply the air of the Texas countryside. What a good smell, she said. Smell of what? Smell of home, of place where we are happy. Smell of restart. That night we celebrated with a special dinner. Anna made roast chicken with farofa. I opened a bottle of wine that I kept for very special occasion. A toast, I said, raising the glass. To what? To Uncle Antonio, who even without knowing us believed in you. To life that always surprises when we least expect. And to the future that promises to be wonderful. And to the father who taught me to dream big, Anna completed. And to the daughter who taught me that it's never too late to start over. We toasted there in the kitchen of the Santa Rita Ranch, 2 hearts that met at the right time, two lives that transformed each other, two people who now had resources to make a difference in the world. The inheritance had changed our financial situation, but the love between us continued to be our greatest wealth. And it was with that love that we were going to build a future that would honor the trust of Uncle Antonio and help many people to find the same path of dignity and hope that we found. Life had taught us that miracles happen every day, and that sometimes they arrive in a notary letter on a random morning in January when we least expect it, but always at the right time. 2 years after Uncle Antonio's inheritance, our life had transformed in a way that even in the most optimistic dreams, I couldn't imagine. The Ana Luis Santos Sewing and Vocational Training School had become reality at a speed that impressed even ourselves. We bought 15 acres of good land, 2 miles from the ranch, built a modern building with 8 classrooms, 50 industrial sewing machines, library, cafeteria, and even dormitory for students who came from afar. But we didn't stop at sewing. There were also courses in cooking, basic computer skills, crafts, rural management, raising small animals. All free, all aimed at giving opportunity to those who never had any opportunity in life. Anna became a social entrepreneur, respected throughout the region. She gave interviews to the newspaper, participated in events in San Antonio and DC, received visits from authorities who wanted to know the project. But she continued to be the same simple girl that I found almost dead in the pasture, only now with resources to materialize all the generosity that she always had in her heart. "Dad, another letter arrived," she said on a Thursday morning, entering the kitchen where I was having breakfast. "From whom this time?" "From the Department of Education. They want to know our project to replicate in other regions of the country." "And you're going to receive them?" "Of course. The more people know about our work, the more people can be helped." In those 2 years, more than 300 women had passed through the school's courses. Many had already set up their own business. Others worked in the co-op that we created. Some had even opened shops in the city. It was beautiful to see the movement of people coming and going, the buzz of the classes, the gleam in the eye of each student who discovered that she could be more than the destination imposed. "You know what was the best news I received yesterday?" Anna asked, spreading butter on the homemade bread. "What?" "Josefa, remember her? The first student of the first class? Managed to buy her own house with the money she earned sewing." "Seriously?" "Seriously, simple house but hers. She cried telling me. She said that she never imagined that she was going to get out of the rent." "That has no price, honey." "It really doesn't. It's worth more than all the money in the world." The co-op had become the official supplier of school uniforms for 3 city halls in the region. It employed 40 full-time women, plus another 20 in piecework production. It was a business that made a profit, but the profit all returned to the school to expand the courses, to help more people. "Anna, can I say something that I've been thinking for a long time?" I said, finishing my coffee with milk. "You can say anything, Dad. I'm very proud of what you've become. Very proud indeed." "Thank you, but I couldn't have done any of this alone." "You could have. You have a natural gift to lead, to inspire, to make things happen. I learned that with you. Seeing how you took care of me, how you believed in me when I didn't even believe myself. You who taught me to dream again, to see that I still had much to contribute to the world." We were silent for a while, each lost in their own thoughts. Through the kitchen window, you could see the movement of the school in the distance. Students arriving for the morning class, teachers organizing material, employees taking care of the garden that Anna insisted on planting around the building. "Dad, there's something I want to talk to you about," Anna said, suddenly more serious. "Tell me, honey. It's about a man. Ready." The day had come that I knew was going to arrive sooner or later. Anna, at 25 years old, beautiful, intelligent, successful, wasn't going to stay single forever. In fact, it even took longer than I expected. What man? Do you know Professor Daniel, the one who teaches computer science at the school? I knew. Daniel Oliveira, 32 years old, graduated in information systems, had come from San Antonio when he learned about the school's project. Serious, polite, hard-working guy, single, without children, good reputation in the region. I know. What about him? He's been looking for me, talking to me after classes. Yesterday he invited me to dinner in town. And you? I liked him. He's intelligent, respectful. He has the same ideals as me. He believes in social work. He wants to help needy people. But I was afraid of how you were going to react. Afraid why? I don't know. Afraid of you thinking that I'm abandoning you, abandoning our projects, abandoning everything that we built together. I laughed softly. Anna still had those girl insecurities. Honey, do you really think that I want you single for the rest of your life? No, but Anna, you're a young, beautiful woman, full of life. It's natural that someone appears. And if that someone is a good man who respects you and makes you happy, I can only be happy. Daniel is a good man, serious, hard-working, has a good reputation, and most importantly, he admires me for what I do, not for what I have. That's fundamental. Mutual respect and admiration. So you don't mind if I start dating? I only mind if he doesn't treat you as you deserve. Then he's going to have a problem with me. Anna laughed, relieved. Thank you for understanding, Dad. Honey, I want your complete happiness, professional, personal, loving. You deserve all the good that life can offer. And you? Never thought about finding someone too? The question caught me a little off guard, but it wasn't the first time that she touched on the subject. I think about it sometimes, but it's complicated. Mary was a very great love, very intense. Hard to find something similar. Doesn't have to be similar, Dad. Can be different and be good in the same way. Can be. But for now I'm fulfilled like this. I have you, I have our projects, I have purpose in life. I don't lack anything essential, if you say so. Anna started dating Daniel 2 weeks later. He came to get her on weekends, took her to dinner in town, to the social events that she participated. Always respectful, always polite with me. He asked about the ranch, praised the work of the school, showed genuine interest in what we did. I saw in her eyes that she was happy. A different kind of happiness, happiness of a woman in love. And that made me happy too. Anna deserved to have someone special in life, someone who would share with her not only the successes, but also the dreams for the future. Dad, Daniel had an interesting idea for the school, she said on a Friday, after returning from a walk with him. What idea? He knows some businessmen in San Antonio who have clothing factories. They're looking for reliable suppliers in the interior. They want to outsource part of the production. And our co-op can get into that? It can. It would be a big constant contract with guaranteed payment. It would give employment to another 50 seamstresses. 50. That's right. We would have to expand again, buy more industrial machines, hire more instructors. But the return would be very good for the whole region. I was impressed. Anna never stopped growing, thinking big, creating opportunities. And you think our group can handle it? The ones who have already graduated, yes, and we can train more. Do an intensive course specialized in industrial sewing. When would that be? If everything works out, we would start in 4 months. Anna, this is a very big leap again. Are you sure? I am, and Daniel is going to help us with the management and technology part. He understands systems, quality control, those modern things. He wants to be a partner too? No, he just wants to help. He says that he believes in the project and wants to see it grow more and more. Daniel was really showing himself to be a man of character, interested in Anna's success, willing to contribute without wanting to take personal advantage. That left me more calm about the relationship of the two. If you think it's a good opportunity, honey, I support you. I've always supported your dreams. Thank you, Dad, for trusting me, for always supporting me, for never trying to hold me back when I want to fly higher. You don't need to fly higher, Anna. You already fly in the sky. Now you're just expanding your wings. The contract with the clothing factories came out 6 months later. Anna expanded the school again, built an industrial shed, bought 20 new machines, hired 2 specialized instructors. In a short time, we had 80 women working directly in the co-op, plus another 30 studying in the regular courses. The movement in the region became intense. Buses arriving every day, bringing students from neighboring cities, trucks seeking production, authorities visiting the project. The small dirt road that led to the school had to be paved by the city hall due to the movement of vehicles. Dad, sometimes I stop and don't believe what we managed to build, Anna said one afternoon, walking with me on the school grounds. Why don't you believe? 3 years ago, I was a girl without a document, without money, without perspective. Today, I command a project that employs more than 100 people and has already trained almost 500. But you always had the potential. You just needed the right opportunity. The right opportunity was you. It was having found a family that believed in me. We stopped in the shade of a plum tree that we had planted in the first year of the school. It was already big, bearing fruit, making pleasant shade. Anna, can I ask you a kind of personal question? You can ask anything, Dad. Are you and Daniel thinking about getting married? She smiled, kind of embarrassed. We are. He has already touched on the subject a few times, but I said that I want to finish the new expansion of the school first. And then I accept to marry him. If that's what you both want, if you two what? You and him, the 2 most important people of my life. Honey, the decision is yours. My opinion is secondary. It is not no. Your opinion is fundamental. You're my dad. You're my advisor. You're my best friend. If you didn't approve my fiancé, I wouldn't marry. But I approve, Daniel. He's a good man, treats you well, believes in your work. He would be a good husband for you. And you're not going to feel abandoned? On the contrary, I'm going to feel fulfilled seeing you form your own family, even knowing that possibly I'm going to have children and my attention is going to be divided. Anna, honey, I'm already 63 years old. You're 25. It's natural that you marry, have children, build your own family. And when that happens, I'm going to be the proudest grandfather in the world. Grandpa JB, she said, trying the words. I liked the sound. Me too. And if my children ask how it was that you and I met, then I'm going to tell the most beautiful story in the world of how a lonely farmer and a lost girl met on a dusty road and built together a family and a dream. What a beautiful story indeed. The most beautiful that I know. The wedding of Anna with Daniel was scheduled for March of the following year. Simple ceremony in the city church, party at the school hall for the whole community. Anna insisted that it was like that, party of the people, with everyone who in some way was part of our story. On the eve of the wedding, she came to talk to me on the porch where I had evening coffee, as she had always done for years. Dad, I want to thank you for something. What? For having prepared me for this moment. For having taught me what is true love, what is family, what is commitment to another person. You already knew those things. You just needed someone to show. I didn't know. When you found me, I thought that I wasn't good for loving or being loved. You who taught me that I was worth it. And today, you know that you're worth a lot. I know. And I also know that I'm going to be a good wife for Daniel because I learned with the best example of husband that ever existed. What example? The way that you loved Aunt Mary. You speak little of her, but when you speak, your eyes shine in a way that shows how great that love was. It was the greatest love of my life, until you arrived. I'm a different love, right? Different, but equally great. Love of father for daughter is one of the most powerful things that exist in this world. Anna got up from the chair and came to give me a tight hug. Thank you, Dad, for everything. for having saved me, for having raised me, for having taught me to dream big. Thank you, honey, for having given me a reason to continue alive when I was already giving up. We both saved each other, right? We both saved each other. The wedding was beautiful. Anna radiant in the white dress that she sewed herself, Daniel emotional at the altar, the church crowded with people who rooted for the happiness of the two. When the priest asked who was giving the bride away, I stood up from the first row and said with pride, I, J.B. Santos, father of the bride, give my daughter Anna Louise to this man, trusting that he will make her happy for the rest of her life. It was one of the most emotional moments that I have ever lived, seeing my daughter of the heart getting married with a good man, surrounded by love and respect of the whole community. The party was until dawn. Country sertanejo, a lot of good food, people dancing and talking. Anna and Daniel opened the dance floor with a beautiful waltz, then called all those present to dance too. Dad, come dance with me, Anna called me in the middle of the party. I don't know how to dance, honey. It doesn't matter. I want to dance with my dad at my wedding. We danced a slow song, Anna laughing at my clumsiness, me stepping on her dress from time to time. But it was perfect the way it was. A father and a daughter celebrating together love and life. Dad, can I tell you a secret? She whispered in my ear. You can. Daniel and I want to have many children, and all are going to call you Grandpa JB. How many is many? 3, 4. How many God sends? I'm going to be the happiest grandpa in the world. And are you going to teach my children everything that you taught me? I'm going to teach about work, about honesty, about dreaming big, and mainly about love, how to love and how to be loved. Perfect. 3 months after the wedding, Anna came to give me news that made my heart overflow with joy. Dad, you're going to be a grandpa. Seriously? Very seriously. 2 months of gestation. My God, I shouted, lifting her in my arms and spinning in the kitchen. I'm going to be a grandfather. And I'm going to be a mother. I'm nervous, but very happy. You're going to be a wonderful mother, I'm sure. How can you be sure? Because you have the most generous heart that I've ever known, and good mother is the one who loves unconditionally. I learned to love unconditionally with you, and I learned to love again with you. Anna's pregnancy was quiet. She continued working at the school, only decreased the pace a little in the last months. Daniel was a dedicated husband, took care of her with affection, participated in everything. The baby was born on a morning in December, right in the rainy season. Boy, strong, whiny, with the big eyes of the mother and the square chin of the father. What's he going to be called? I asked, holding my first grandson in my arms. John Antonio, Anna said, smiling, tired but happy. John because of you, Antonio because of the uncle who left me the inheritance. Beautiful name. Name of man who is going to make a difference in the world. Like the grandfather and the great-uncle did. Holding that newborn grandson was one of the most emotional experiences of my life. Seeing in him a little of Anna, a little of Daniel, a little of all our family built with so much love. Welcome to the family, John Antonio, I whispered in his little ear. You arrived in a world full of people who love you. 2 years later came Maria Eduarda, then Jose Daniel. Anna and Daniel fulfilled the dream of having a big, noisy family full of life. The Santa Rita Ranch became the meeting point of the family. Sundays, always with big lunch, grandchildren running in the yard, daughters and sons-in-law talking on the porch. The house that one day was silent as a cemetery became the beating heart of a happy family. Dad, sometimes I look at all this and don't believe it, Anna told me one afternoon, seeing the 3 children playing under the plum tree. What don't you believe in? In how our life has transformed. Remember when it was just me and you, 2 lonely people trying to rebuild life? I remember. It seems like it was yesterday, and at the same time it seems like it was 100 years ago. And now look, you with 3 grandchildren, me with husband and children. The school training people every month, hundreds of families with better life because of our work. It all started with you, honey. You were the seed of all that happiness. No, it all started with you saving me in that pasture. With you choosing to love me when I had nothing to offer in return. You had everything to offer. I, who took too long to realize that I was losing the chance to be a father. And I was losing the chance to have a family. But we didn't lose. We met at the right time. At the exact time. It was late afternoon of a Friday in March, 7 years after I found Anna in that dry pasture. We were on the porch of the ranch, seeing the movement of the school in the distance, hearing the noise of the children playing in the yard. Suddenly, it started to rain. It wasn't strong storm. It was gentle, pleasant rain of those that wet the earth with affection. The smell that rose was indescribable. Smell of life, of rebirth, of hope. Dad, look how beautiful the rain is, Anna said, stretching out her hand to feel the drops. The most beautiful that I've ever seen in life. Why? Because it reminds me of our story. After a long time of drought, of suffering, of loneliness, the rain finally arrived. Finally, everything blossomed again. It's true. Our life is like that rain. It arrived at the right moment to make everything blossom. 5-year-old John Antonio appeared, running on the porch. Grandpa, it's raining. Can I play in the rain? You can, my grandson, but take off your clothes so you don't get wet. The boy ran away, shouting with joy, calling the brothers to play in the rain. Soon the 3 were in the yard, barefoot, dancing in the water that fell from the sky. Dad, Anna said softly, tell me, honey, I love you. I love you for having saved me when I was lost. I love you for having believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I love you for having given me a family, a home, a purpose in life. I love you too, Anna. More than if you had been born of my blood. You saved me too. You took me out of the darkness. You brought me back to life. So we saved each other. We saved each other and built something much bigger than us two. What? Built hope. For us, for our children and grandchildren, for all the people who have passed through our school. Built proof that it's worth dreaming, it's worth believing, it's worth loving. Anna came to sit on the arm of my chair, like she did when she was young and insecure. Dad, if you could go back in time, would you change anything about our story? Nothing, absolutely nothing. Every pain that we went through, every difficulty that we faced, every tear that we shed was necessary to get here. Not even the suffering that I went through with Cleusa? Not even that, because it was that suffering that gave you strength to help other people who go through the same thing. And not even the loneliness that you went through after Aunt Mary died. Not even that. Because it was that loneliness that prepared me to love you as you deserve to be loved. So everything was worth it? Everything. Every minute, every second, every beat of the heart. Everything was worth it to get to this moment. The rain continued falling gently, wetting the dry earth, making new life sprout. The grandchildren played in the yard, laughing, shouting, being happy the way children have to be. Anna leaned her head on my shoulder, satisfied, complete. Dad, thank you for having taught me that after every drought the rain always comes. And you taught me that it's worth waiting, that it's worth resisting, that it's worth believing that better days always arrive. For those who don't give up. For those who don't give up. We stayed there until the rain stopped and the sun came back to shine. The grandchildren entered the house wet and happy. Anna went to prepare hot chocolate for everyone. I stayed on the porch a little longer, looking at the sky that cleared, at the rainbow that began to appear. I thought of Mary, of the life that we had together, of the love that didn't die when she left. I thought of Anna, the frightened girl that I brought home one afternoon of scorching sun. I thought of all the encounters and disagreements that were necessary to get there. And I understood a truth that took me 67 years to understand. Life is made of cycles. Times of drought and times of rain. Times of pain and times of joy, times of loss and times of encounter. The important thing is not to give up during the drought. It's to resist, it's to wait, it's to believe that the rain always comes back. And when it comes back, because it always comes back, we have to be ready to receive each drop, to let it wet every corner of the heart, to let it make new life sprout where it seemed that there was only death. Anna brought me a cup of steaming hot chocolate. What were you thinking about, Dad? About life, in how wise it is, in how it always knows the right time to send the rain. And what is the right time? When we need it most. When we have already lost hope, but haven't lost faith yet. Like it was with us, like it was with us. The sun set, painting the sky golden. The school in the distance was preparing for another day of classes tomorrow. The grandchildren ran through the house, filling each room with laughter and good mess. Anna and Daniel talked in the kitchen about the plans for the future. And I there on the porch, old farmer with white hair, heart full of gratitude, looking at everything that life gave me when I thought that it wasn't going to give me anything anymore. A daughter of the heart who became a respected social entrepreneur. 3 grandchildren who call me Grandpa JB and fill me with wet kisses. A school that has already changed the lives of hundreds of families. A house that has returned to be a real home, and the certainty that every day lived, every tear shed, every pain faced was worth it to get to this moment of complete peace. Life had taught me the most important lesson of all, that family is who chooses to stay. That true love is the one that is born from the decision to love, not from the obligation to love. That the most beautiful meetings happen when we stop looking and simply open up to what fate has prepared. And that after every last well, always comes the first rain, always comes the restart, always comes the new life, always comes the joy of who knew how to wait without losing faith. The rain had arrived for us two on a dusty road in the Texas countryside on a random morning of a long time ago. And it continued raining blessings in our life every day since then. Sometimes it is enough to take a shortcut that is never taken to find the happiness of a lifetime. Sometimes it is enough to extend a hand to someone who needs it to discover that who most needed salvation was yourself. And sometimes it is enough to believe that after the longest drought always comes the most beautiful rain. Just have patience and faith to wait for it to arrive. A story about encounters that change destinies, about family chosen by the heart, and about the power of hope to transform lives.